This is the rate of change and slope video. Make sure that you are taking special note of the quiz questions that I put down and highlighting things, writing more than I write down, and then make sure you study these notes. You need to know all the stuff that it says in here. First thing is rate of change is a ratio. It describes how one quantity changes with respect to another. Okay, it sounds maybe a little more complicated than it really is, but it's used all the time. Linear means it's going to have a constant rate of change. So it's not changing, it'll be a straight line. That's what we're going to deal with for this chapter. This is something that is going to be a quiz question. 0 divided by anything is a zero slope, and it is a horizontal line. So make sure you remember that. Make sure you see what the example looks like. So you can see right here where this would be the equation of the line might look like that. That's if it's 0 divided by anything is a zero slope, and it's a horizontal line. Here's an example of what one of those lines might look like. So I'm going to go ahead and make that. So if I have y is equal to -2, then I would go down here to -2, and that is a zero slope. It doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. It has a y-intercept, does not have an x-intercept. Anything divided by 0 is undefined slope and is a vertical line. This is also a quiz question. Make sure you know this. So an example would be x equals 4. So this is an undefined slope, and this could be the equation for that. So make sure you know the difference between these two. This is actually not a function because it violates the vertical line test. Another quiz question. You need to know the difference between a negative slope and a positive slope. We look at things from left to right. So as from left to right, it's going up, that's a positive slope. If from left to right, it's going down, that's a negative slope. Make sure you memorize that. And another quiz question is different ways to symbolize slope. Lots of ways to say it. You could say slope, of course. You could say m. Could say rate of change. Could say the change in y divided by the change in x. Delta y over delta x means the same. Rise over run. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. It's a lot of different ways to say it. You might hear it differently in different classes. You really should memorize all of these so that you know how it works. Alright, here's an example of a rate of change. So Tom grew 15 inches in 3 years. Okay, so it's 15 over 3, or 15 inches every 3 years. If I reduce that down, it becomes 5 inches per year, which I have wrong over here. So 5 inches per year. That's the rate of change. That's the slope. So let's look at this. The first one says, find the rate of change and tell what it means. So what I'm going to do to find the rate of change is I'm just going to see how much everything is changing. So if I think from 3 to 6 and from 6 to 9, I'm adding 3. So that's plus 3. From here, from 48 to 96, you need to see how much you are changing. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. I'm adding 48, and here I'm adding 48. So my rate of change is going to be 48 feet for 3 tiles. So 48 feet for 3 tiles, because this is 48 over 3, and that equals 16 feet squared per tile. So each tile that I'm laying down must cover 16 square feet. That's a rate of change. For this one, it looks like they're asking, are these linear? Remember, to be linear, it has to be constant. So if you look at the second bulleted point, it has to be constant. So I'm going to look at my change. That's plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. Okay, so all of these are plus 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, and so on. So that's constant. That's fine. Here, I subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2. So my rate of change, negative 2 over 3. Yes, this is linear because my rate of change is constant. Let's look at this example. I have to add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. So far it looks like it's linear, but let's look at the other side. Add 2, add 4. Okay, so I had the exact same rate over here, but here it's different. So no, this is not linear. Okay, this is part 1 of rate of change and slope. Make sure you review this, watch part 2, then take the Edmodo quiz.